so I don't forget. And move that up. Everything else is off. Excellent. As you can see back there, talking some site design, site functionality, SEO with a couple of clients today. Going over some basics. And there was a question, and I believe the question was on Reddit. And it was somebody asking, excuse me, about being a beginner or wanting to start an SEO, and where should they begin, and how much is the software, and how much is the process cost, and how much should they pay for courses. And I'm going to say, one, there is a ton of free information out there, just like this is, that talks about SEO. Subscribe to blogs, writers like Ryan, the SEO Show, Maz, Rand Fishkin, SourceWave, things like that. Understand, and there's Matt Diggity is really, really good. Read, constantly be reading. I use Feedly as an aggregate, because the RSS feed readers, are come and go, hit and miss. I pay for the pro version of Feedly. I have Feedly go out and just scrape questions, comments, articles, blog posts, absolutely everything I can on a bunch of subjects. I wish I could share screen with you. I have the mobile app, and if I'm somewhere, especially, and don't tell my wife this, but if I'm at something that she is doing or wanting to do, and I love my wife and I love everything that she does, but sometimes the dentist or even grocery shopping, is horrible. This is the Feedly mobile app, and that is this is the SEO spot. And I have, let me see, you can explore, but those are some of the sections. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Those are some of the things that I have articles pop up about that go along with the SEO Show, a couple other sites, some client stuff. To get the information going, I go to one website. It goes out and does everything. It's almost like Google Alerts, except easier. And I can run through a whole lot of stuff. I can highlight. I can share. It connects with Buffer, connects with Hootsuite. So I can share those out if they're any good, or if I need an answer to that same exact question. But reading is fundamental and is really important to finding out what's happening from a community, because something that's happening to your website, especially if you're new, you probably aren't going to notice things. Now, the other thing is if you're a very small website, you're also probably not going to get hit as hard, especially if you're doing what Google says. And there's another place to get information is Google itself, not the search engine, but the blog, what is it? Not the developers, but the webmaster blogs and articles. Read those and understand that they're there to educate you, but also a grain of salt. Nothing that anybody writes is exactly gospel, because every day there's an algorithm going through, there's a robot going through, You may end up being part of a spam hit. Your bounce rate may be off because you wrote a really bad article or nobody was interested and they came, they looked, they left. You have to build something that people want to consume what you're talking about. And I'm just going to run down, and I've got my notebook, but it's empty because I was hoping there would be a bunch of questions. Please, folks, if you have questions, say hi. If not, that's okay too. Tweet out to your friends. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to tweet. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and tweet that out, that we're here, that we're live. I'm going to also post on Facebook. I'd appreciate any of the help, the love, the concern. Let's see. Okay. That's all done. No, it's not. Now it's done. Now it's done. Okay. So now I notified my clan. For a beginner wanting to get into SEO, consuming the information, one, is going to tell you if you're even interested in it. If you're getting into it for the money, you're going to go hungry at first, unless you're a great salesman, but then you have to be a practitioner, or you outsource the doing portion of it. If you're the doer and you're consuming all the information about SEO and the practices and everything else and the best, and you're testing things and you're building up new sites and you're setting site structure, but you're not going out and talking to clients, it is going to take you a very long time to get money because you'll be just too worried about trying to learn everything. And you never will learn everything. So don't try to know it all. Just get a good grasp of it. The number one thing to do is to build a website. Find a niche that you can be dedicated to personally. And this is for practicing. This is for learning. This is for what I call blowing it up. This way you don't have any hurt feelings if something bad goes. Your investment, I think GoDaddy, probably you can get it on sale for $2. You can buy, a domain from Namecheap, $10. Go out, find something. Don't be crazy about it, and don't fall in love with the site, but be interested in the niche. So we have a Facebook group that we kind of threw up just to see if something was going to happen with it. And we have over 3,000. I think we're at 3,500 now. Pretty dedicated, people in there. They're posting pictures. They're talking about things. And it's on St. Bernard's. It's that dog niche. And it's specific to St. Bernard. So we're in to a sub niche of dogs, and we just post things there. So went out and built a website, and the people kind of flow over back and forth. We're not dedicated to that website and dominating and selling dog leashes or selling this and that. We are literally testing SEO stuff. How long can we keep somebody on there? Can we get people to write for us? What type of videos do well on there? Stuff like that. So what we do is we are going to post on the website and then share it in the group. People will see it. They'll interact back and forth. That helps your SEO. There's your social signals, and your social visitors helps with your rank. Be in a niche that you can write about, or you have friends, families, or can invest money in getting articles about. So if you're into video games, bam, write up a little article, put in a picture, put in a video. and just keep building up content. That is going to be your start. Then you can play with plugins. Oh, and your website, again, for ease of use, unless you're a coder, just go with WordPress. Google loves WordPress. WordPress pretty much dominates what sites are built on now. And I mean, just for the new people, I know there are Joomla and HTML sites, but ease of use, setting something up, moving things around. I work with a great site builder that I've been using for years. It's working. I can throw up. As a matter of fact, I threw up a site and a subdomain yesterday in probably a half hour. Plugins uploaded with FTP. You can test different plugins that are in WordPress. So if you needed to do something, there's probably a free WordPress plugin that will do what you need. If you're hooking up to an autoresponder to build an email list in that niche, Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, all of them have code that you can put in, or they have a plugin that connects right there. So then you've got your autoresponder, you've got your website. I forgot about hosting. Go with the names that people know, the names that Host9, even HostGator. I know there'll be lovers and haters to all of these, but you want a company that has a support staff there that responds. I use Host9. I use who do I use? I've got a couple. WP Engine, but that is WP Engine is more expensive than what I'm sure anybody else will ever. I think it's $35, $45 a month. And the only reason is I wanted a bulletproof site for the SEO show. I like it, but it is very expensive. You're not going to just add on sites. I do that with Host9 and Beyond Hosting. But go where your budget is and where you can just put I think HostGator might have it for $5, $10, $15 a month. Reseller account, you can add more domains as you want to grow. The more domains, the bigger the domains that you're putting onto your account, the slower your site will get because it's doing all of this moving parts in the background. So be aware of that. But with your website, as you're adding things and moving things and putting a plugin on, or you found a cool theme at Theme Forest and you bought it for $40 and it was exactly what you wanted, and you're putting it on and you upload the demo information and all these things are happening. You're going to want to monitor traffic. You're going to want to, whether you use Google, analytics for that or something else. Those are things that you can do, your site maps, all of those things that make up a website, you're going to want to get your hands on. That's where SEO begins. You have to know that by moving something or putting it in a silo, or you have a widget on the side that shows your last 3-5 articles, or you've got the sitemap on the sidebar, or you got the categories, the search bar, the Google specified search. All of these things will have an impact on how your site works. And we haven't even gotten into the social yet. If you have a website, you should have the social accounts, or a handful of social accounts that are dedicated to that domain. Facebook page or a Facebook group, a Twitter account, a YouTube account. You can do a LinkedIn group or a Google Plus page, or, your Reddits, or whatever that would interest you to post to, or that the people who are visiting you would post to. You want those available so they can share. There's a ton of plugins that, the share buttons are right there. They'll go up and down as you scroll, or they'll stay in one spot, or they're underneath your post. Those are things you also will test. You'll see if people, when you post an article and you share it to Facebook, if they're willing to read it and then, tweet back, or all of those share signals that help. You'll want to monitor how many visitors a day, how many visitors did this article get. And that's kind of the suck part of SEO, is the analytics. That's why a lot of business owners don't want to do it, and they want to hire somebody, but they don't realize all of the things that go into the SEO. There's a lot of the structuring and the testing that we do in SEO, and that's why we want to be paid for what we do. It's not easy. It gets easier. The more you practice, the better you get at it. But each niche is going to have a different thing. Guys who are into welding, and you build a welding site and it's got great welding information, they're going to come in and they're going to act and respond and interact and all of that differently than a group that is for online first-person shooter website that talks about cheat codes and maps and teams and contests and the t-shirts and, fragging parties and all of it. They are going to respond differently. And then you can have a site for sewing. And the ladies and or guys are going to interact with your site differently also. So those are the things that, even though SEO can be a box, everything in and out of that box is going to interact and be involved differently. So that's the basics of starting, and you always start with you. Now, if you want to build a career and get paid for this, my suggestion is, and this is going to also impact your income, find an SEO agency near you, or find an SEO agency that allows working from home over the internet that can give you projects, and you start learning. Being in an office building with other SEOs or an SEO agency, you will immerse yourself in that culture. You'll pick up the language, you'll pick up the nuances, you'll start to see the hours that people work, because, they're like coders. Some SEO guys are like coders and they work crazy hours, some long, some short, work holidays, don't work holidays, all that type of stuff. But get in there and intern. See if you can intern. Just walk in and say, hey, look, I want to see if this is something that I want to do, and I'm willing to work for free to learn, and you can use me to get the little things done that, I need to learn, and you don't have anybody who wants to do them. Let me do it, and you'll see, and invite yourself into the meetings. Ask, hey, can I go to that meeting? Hey, can I listen in? Ask a ton of questions. That's a great way. And especially if you live in a small town, that there are other SEO guys, which you can find on Facebook and other communities, meetups. Start getting in the culture. You got to submerge yourself in. If you want to learn how to drive, you have to get in a car or truck and start doing it. It's the same with SEO. You got to get in and you got to start doing it. You're not going to rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Lexus and learn how to drive, especially if it's somebody else's car, because, what if you crash? That's why I always say invest 30, 40 bucks, build your own site. If you crash it, it's yours. you walk away from it, you're fine. You don't need insurance. You don't need to worry about Geico. And more than likely, you haven't destroyed it. It's more, it can be fixed. And again, for $10, if you blow something up, you just start over. So I'm going to pause the recording for a minute. And now I'm going to start it again. I just want to see how well that works. But that's kind of where this rant for today went. I just wanted to share some insight on the question of what's best for a beginner. Your own webpage, your own niche. And don't go after money niches. I say, don't try to build a plumber site just because you heard somebody say they pay a ton for leads. I mean, find something crazy. Do a review site on anything, movies, TV shows. Find a TV show and write a review on every episode there is. You can probably find a snippet of the episode on YouTube. So there's your video. You can take a little screenshot or an IMDb photo and put the actors in there. Give credit to IMDb. You can put up interviews that they've done for other news stations, television shows, things like that. But then you're building up content and you like it. You like the show. So you can do that fan site. And as it grows, start adding things like banners, AdSense, CPA offers, T-shirts, whatever, your own little ebook on how to start a fan site, and look at how your traffic builds, because you're building up, you're giving something of value to the community. And I think you'll be greatly, impressed. And with what we talked about with Ryan, you write an article on the psychology of the Big Bang Theory relationship between Sheldon and Amy. And you just make it a goofy article, but you put it on Medium. My thoughts on Sheldon Cooper's relationship. And you just write something, and that links back to you. And if people like it, they're going to share it, and people are going to go to your website. You put on a fan page on Facebook, and people start coming in to see what you're writing. If you're not a good writer, writing these little articles will help you become better. Have somebody else edit them and read them before you post them, or hire people. iWriter.com, Craigslist. A lot of people in Facebook. There's a lot of writers groups that freelancers, Odesk, all of those places. You can hire writers pretty inexpensively. I like using peopleperhour.com. A little bit more expensive, but a higher quality. But you don't have to go out and start spending a ton of money to learn how to do it. And that's why I say if you enjoy the niche, you will want to write about it and want to express yourself. And then you start doing this. You start a blab channel where you talk about your niche. And you go out there and you talk about Sheldon and Amy's relationship and transcribe the audio from your videos. And there's an article. And you can do it once a week. You can do it once every 2 weeks. You can do it once a month. Whatever your level of diving in. But if you want to do SEO and you are a beginner, this is my thoughts on where you can start. Now, this starting process could take a week. It could take a month. It could take 6 months. Your site could, you could hit that mother load of everything, the perfect storm, and your site takes off, and all of a sudden, you go over to flippa.com and you sell your site and make a bunch of money and then move on and do it again somewhere else. I know of a gentleman here in Phoenix. His name is Radar Roy. He's a retired police officer, and he had a website where they talked about radar detectors, and he ended up selling it to a big company for a lot of money, and it was radar detector reviews. He got paid a lot of money for that website. So, those little review sites, now I don't know if that's possible today. I have no idea. And the best way to find out is to do it. Look at all the articles on the phones on these. My wife spent hours looking up reviews on cell phones so she could get her new one. I did the same thing for mine. I'd show you a couple of other gadgets here, but I can't because being beta tested. But GoPro, people look it up to see what's the best one to grab, and they do reviews, so you can do a GoPro review. There's a ton out there, a lot of competition. But when you're starting out, don't worry so much about too much competition. Worry about you getting dedicated into the subject matter so that you can start testing things and how things work. Building backlinks. Start reading about what software you'll need to build backlinks. Look at the backlink building process. So there's a lot of little pieces. It's like a puzzle, it's one good solid picture. But depending on how involved you want to be is how many pieces of that puzzle. You might get the little kid's puzzle with 25 pieces. You put it together and you go, I don't want to do this. Well, fine, it was a $3 puzzle. Or you might really, really enjoy it and go get the 10,000 piece puzzle with the little tiny pieces like that takes, forever. It all depends on how far you want to go into it. So I wish you all luck. I was hoping that there would be questions and answers. I know there's people listening, and I appreciate you. I know you'll be watching the replay. I know a lot of people will watch the replay. And again, my name is Frank Schwarz. This is the SEO Show. If you have questions, please go over to the Facebook page, and you don't have to register. You don't have to like it. You don't have to follow it. Just stop by and see what we post about. We have the SEOshow.com. We have SEO Show at Twitter. Follow us. Come in. If you are an SEO person, please get a hold of me. I'd love to have you on. We can debate. We can talk. We can argue. You see? Perfect timing. And I would love to have you in because I am not the one who knows it all. I just act like I do. So with that, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Go out and do something great for you and yourself. See ya.